today is the Abracadabra idea that we create as we speak. And what I want to focus on first is really our brain chemistry. So, because the idea that this is a very magical process is actually supported by the science of our brains. So we have about 400,000 bits of information that come and are available to us every minute. And our brains, which are pretty amazing things, only can absorb about 2,000 bits of information, which I think is still pretty good. However, it needs to decide which of those 400,000 bits of information it's going to choose at any given moment. So the way that we do that is by telling our brains what are important to them. So and we do this by what we care about, what we think about, what we talk about, what we notice on a general basis. So when, if my mother watched it, and we lived in Southern California at the time, watched the Weather Channel all of the time, which I thought was the most hysterical thing in the world, because in Southern California, it's almost always sunny. But I guess, going back to it, I think her idea was that, I love the sun. I'm so happy to know that it's going to be sunny today. I'm just guessing because I don't really know why she watched the Weather Channel. But so her idea of, sun is important to me is kind of the way her day would go. And she was a very cheerful person. So the more that we focus on the things that we want our brains to notice, the more we will notice them. The other thing I want to just mention is that on an average day, a human being has 60,000 thoughts, and all but 1,000 of them are thoughts we've generally already thought. So like thoughts that we have previously. There's about 1,000 new thoughts a day. That's still pretty good. So we can decide what those 1,000 new thoughts are going to be by how we program ourselves. So that's kind of the beginning of what the abracadabra idea is. So basically what Pam Grout was saying in the piece that I read this morning is that prayer, or how we program ourselves, is how we are creating the lives we have. So the more we notice that the glass is half full, the more the glass becomes half full, because that's what we're programming our brains to find. And there's some amazing stories in this book of people who, are looking for things but don't even notice those things. Like there's a woman who's trying to get on a bus, and the bus pulls up in front of her, and she's waiting for the bus, and she doesn't notice the bus because she's so busy looking for the bus. So one idea of that is that you have to stop looking and know that it's there. That's kind of what that means. So I just want to share a few stories about how our thoughts can affect our reality that happened to me personally, and then I'm going to open it up for discussion and let people talk about whatever this brings up for them. So the first one is what I call the toothbrush holder story. So my son and I we have one bathroom, so sometimes we brush our teeth at the same time. And I used to have an electric toothbrush, but it broke, so we started using just manual toothbrushes. And we have one of those old-fashioned toothbrush holders that are ceramic and attached to the wall. So they have like really tiny little holes for the way toothbrushes used to be. And they don't, now toothbrushes are bigger and they don't fit in those ceramic holders. And my son said one day, it would be really great if we had a toothbrush holder that the toothbrush fit in. And so without thinking, I opened the cabinet drawer below the sink in the bathroom. I reached in and I pulled out a toothbrush holder that was the right size and shape for toothbrushes, and I stuck it on the counter. I had no memory of having gotten that in any way. I don't keep a lot of extra stuff in my house. I just happened to get this toothbrush holder in my hand when we needed it. So now, could I have gotten that from my dad when he died or picked it up in some way? Sure. And maybe I did. And somewhere in my brain, I thought, I remembered that even though I didn't consciously remember it. Totally possible. But I've had more amazing things happen to me. So when in the summer, during this whole COVID time, I wanted to go on vacation and we couldn't go on our regularly scheduled vacation to, we had scheduled a vacation out of state through my boyfriend's timeshare, and it was canceled and we couldn't go, but I still wanted to go on vacation. So I started just putting out there, hey, I really want a vacation. I want to go somewhere where it's safe, where we can be together as a family, but not be in the house. And I actually said this on the Possibility Posse one day. And after the posse was over, one of the members contacted me on the side and said, hey, I have a lake house. Would you like to use it? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. So I said, how much do you want us to pay for it? And she was like, you don't really have to pay for it, whatever you want. So I offered her some amount of money, and she was like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. And then like it was approaching the time and we had another conversation. I found out where the key was and all that kind of stuff. And then she's like, I somehow the money came up again, and she's like, I'm really waiting for you to step into the idea that you can just receive this lake house for free without having to pay for it. And I was like, oh my gosh, you called me on my stuff. I have to now do that. So we had a week at the lake house for free. It was beautiful. And, I was like, okay, this is a great gift showered by blessings by the universe. And then my third story is, now clearly I asked for it out loud. She heard me and she offered. So that was how that magic happened. My third story is a couple years ago, I was in Mantoloking, which is the Jersey Shore, in the winter. If you've ever been to the shore in the winter, there was nobody around. Like the streets were clear, the parking lots were clear. I had to go there for business. I came out and my car had a flat tire. I was on the other side of the security gate from where I had been. So I was there. I had my cell phone. I theoretically know how to change a tire, but I couldn't get the lug nut off. I had the wrench on and I was jumping up and down on it, trying to get it to turn, and I couldn't turn it. So I couldn't change my own tire. And I called my insurance company because I thought I had road service through the insurance company. And they said, oh, well, get a tow truck and then send us the receipt and we'll pay for it. And I'm like, I have no idea how to do that. I'm in the middle of nowhere and no one's around. They're like, sorry. So I'm trying to figure out if I can get AAA or how I'm going to get this. And I was on the phone with my brother in California trying to help me. And he was trying to figure out how to do all that. And I got off the phone. I got real present. And I was like, all right, this is not my reality. My reality is that somebody drives by, stops, helps me change the tire, and sends me on my way. That's my reality. I don't have the reality of I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. And lo and behold, within about 5 minutes, some young guy in a pickup truck who had actually driven by a couple times stopped, and he's like, are you having a problem? And my flat tire was on the side, not facing the road, so they couldn't see that was. And I said, yeah, I have a flat tire. And he's like, oh, I thought you were a real estate agent. I was like, nope, not a real estate agent. So he got out of the car, he changed the tire, he told me where there was an open garage about 10 miles away, and I offered to pay him again, and he was like, no, if my mother got stuck, I'd want somebody to help her, so go on your way. So that was my story of being able to think my way into or speak my way into these amazing things that happen in my life. So I'm going to stop the recording now.